Over the years, Wargaming released dozens, if not hundreds of tanks in the game, premiums mostly, and do not worry, it's not gonna stop simply because they need money. But out of all the tanks that they released and that we acquired as a regular milking cow players, there are some of them that have a special place in our hearts. Not necessarily because they look cool, but rather because they are truly effective. And it's the case of the tank we're going to talk about today. I've received a juicy replay of someone playing with the Chimera, and to be honest, it was just great, so I decided to feature it. But before we jump into it, a brief overall look of the Chimera as a tank. It's one of the craziest mediums for two things, in my opinion. The first is its alpha damage coupled with its great gun dispersion, which makes it truly accurate for something that can burst 440 alpha damage per shot. The second thing is obviously that the tank is shaped friendly. What I mean by that is that if someone tries to sneak a shot here, he will bounce. Here it will bounce, and if it's here on the gun mantlet, it will bounce. Which means that with the Chimera, you're not necessarily gonna get punished for the mistakes you make. On top of that, having 10 degrees of gun depression allow you to be versatile on pretty much every single terrain, so how can you not love it? The player we have the pleasure of watching today is Kflower16, and I decided to pick that replay simply because the output is great, the damage output, but most importantly because it's kind of funny to see that we are playing on Immelsdorf, which is definitely not the best map to play with Medium on. But yeah, it seems like it's not gonna bother too much our friend that is just gonna crush the entire enemy team. But let's not spoil too much and just take a look at the replay. So what do you want to do with the Chimera in the first place? On Immelsdorf, it's kind of hard for you to only show your turret, which is usually what you need to do with the Chimera. You wait for your opponents to be focused on someone else, you go around, you sneak your shell, and you hide again. Not necessarily that the tank can't handle shots, but as I just mentioned, the only way for you to bounce things on your turret is to get shot into the gun mantlet and not on the turret cheeks. But yeah, let's say that it's not gonna happen too much because as you can see, for example, with the M4 ML10, the guy is trying so hard to penetrate and bounced already 3 times by now. And it's not going to be a problem because our friend here is trying to sneak an HE, but unfortunately it doesn't work as intended. And now, yeah, the M4 FL10 will not be able to do anything and he's gonna die in the process. I hope he's gonna turn with HE on the Spic, and here guys, here you see what is the main strength of the Chimera. The turret, he turned his turret straight on the Spic, and in the clap of a hand he managed to sneak his shell exactly where he was aiming. And this is what is crazy about this tank. If you combine an HE shell plus the accuracy, you can snapshot some 500 damage across the map quite easily. And it's only one of the few tanks in the game that is capable of doing so. Same for the Scorpion G and tanks like that. And this is what makes it truly comfortable and enjoyable to play that tank, because unlike, for example, an Objects 752U or things like that, where you have to wait for your whole circle to be fully aimed before shooting, otherwise you know you're gonna shoot the stars, it's not a problem here and it's quite enjoyable. So now what is our friend gonna do? As you can see, for the moment he's using the traditional playstyle, just trying to hide his cupola, and well, why would he change anything about that? Because it's working perfectly. On top of that, his crazy accuracy will allow him to sneak the right shots on the right place, especially on the VK shooting into the cupola. And now, yeah, things seems already done for the enemies. I mean, they already lost 3 people, but out of nowhere, you're gonna see they are gonna come back into the game because it seems like his teammates are definitely not among the brightest player. Not a problem, he goes shot once again straight into the gun mantlet, resulting in a bounce. Remember what I told you about not being punished for your mistakes, because here that was a mistake if the VK managed to penetrate, and now he only has to deal with the RHM. And well, he did a mistake. He took the shot and did not try to stay in front of the RHM to finish off the job, which is gonna result in him kind of struggling, having to deal with 2 guys at the same time, the 53 TP and the RHM. But as our friend finally understood that his friend or whatever the enemy was, the 53 TP was AFK, it's no longer a problem and he can just rush in. Is he gonna try to take the risk of sneaking a shot on the 53 TP? No, he's not. He goes straight on the T34. And I kind of like what he was doing here. Instead of going for the easy kill like I would do on the 53 TP and dealing with the T34 after or completely leaving it to his friends, he decided to help them. And this is kind of rare enough to be mentioned. And well, even if it's probably going to cause the death also of the WZ1110, it still allowed him to do the job. But at the same time, he did something kind of shitty because I guess he's trying to hide the kill from his teammate. Or maybe he was trying, but the WZ decided to go away. Not a problem. He's kind of trolling. He's gonna kill the guy and focusing directly on the T34. And now it's no longer too hard to win the game. He has adrenaline on. Is he gonna use it or not? We don't know, and we kind of don't care at this point. But you see that with the Chimera, you are kind of comfortable in every single situation. You saw him brawling against heavies, you saw him fighting against lights, against mediums, you saw him snapshotting, you saw him trying to get the cupolas, so sniping accurately. And all of those things combined are making you having those kind of games with more than 7k damage. Plus, quite an enjoyable game, and on top of that, dealing a shit ton of credits. Just take a look at that, nearly 300,000 credits. It's just wild, but it's well deserved, because after all, what we saw was just a great replay. On top of that, the legendary camo, it's only my opinion, but I think looks gorgeous. So this is the Chimera for you all. If you did not know if you wanted one, now you do. Trust me guys, it's probably one of the greatest tanks for you to learn two things: hold down and how to medium in general. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and personally I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.